Today we're asking the question, can Mevo handle Friday night lights? You see behind me we have a 2-camera setup.
Now, it's just for illustration purposes. Our cameras would need to be mounted high enough, mounted stable enough that anything that came this far on the sideline would not mess with what's going on with our equipment. You're going to need a tripod, there's no doubt about it. Tripod gives you the sturdy, wide base. You're going to need to be behind either the sideline or maybe even mounted up in the stands. That might be a much better, much safer spot if it's close enough to your football field. Now, the size of your stadium always makes a huge difference. I live in a rural town in East Texas, and our stadium is not large. Our stands are not a long way from the field, so I have mounted on the outside rail, the low rail of our stands in order to get the view that I'm looking for Friday nights. Now, our stands are up off the ground a little bit, and so traffic walking by does give a little bit of a shake, and I have to deal with that. But what I'm showing you here today is close to the field. If you have access, this kind of access to your football field, to your athletic director or the folks that make the decision on whether you can set your cameras up down here, this is actually a fantastic spot as far as distance from the field. So what if you don't have the ability to mount 2 cameras? Well, you have panning options that may let you cover the entire field. For example, I have taken my tripod and put a Pivo pod. Got a couple of other videos about the Pivo, shown some success in some live streaming examples. Take that Pivo, and with the included remote, you have the ability to pan from one side to the other. That speed of panning is adjustable. It just turns up or down here with the remote. So all I did was turn my Pivo on and use the remote. Now, as I have used this in the past, I've had the issue of having to pair the Pivo with a device, phone or tablet, have the Pivo app have to stay on top of said device so that the Pivo wouldn't go off after a couple of minutes. That wasn't ideal. Either they've upgraded the software and are allowing this to happen, or we're just in that 5-minute window where the Pivo will stay on, not being attached to an app. We'll see in just a couple of minutes, I suppose. But when I look at how this covers, this may be a better option than trying to run multicam from 2 cameras that are mounted close together. Because I'm not gonna switch from one camera to another and miss what action is going on. I'm gonna pan as the action is moving. I think that may be a really good option for what we've got going here. So as this pans from side to side, you can see we have a good view of the entire field, and I'm not zoomed in. Because of camera placement, I'm close enough that I've not zoomed in any. If I want to do this and run the app at the same time, I'll have the ability to, if I'm using the Mevo 2.0 app, go ahead and set my presets. If I'm using the multicam app, be able to crop and zoom as a play moves a little further away from me, and I'll be able to catch the red zone as they're moving towards the score. Really good options about how to run Pivo for Friday night lights. We do have one other option that will allow us to pan up and down the field if you don't have a Pivo pod. Many of you have looked for ways to attach your Mevo Start to a gimbal. The Hohem iSteady Multi has proven to be an incredibly capable one. It's built for point and shoot cameras, but it handles the Mevo Start very, very well. If we use the Hohem iSteady Multi app, we have the ability to remotely pan. iSteady Multi, connect, sure. Choose the middle, the point and shoot camera there in the middle. So it kind of expects that kind of weight. Hit the control tab there, and then we have the ability to pan back and forth. It's nice and smooth. It is Bluetooth, so we've got close to 100-foot range on this, which is reasonable. and should be able to allow us to sit in the stands or find our place on the track and remotely control, pan, another Mevo start. This is another option to remotely pan the Mevo start if we choose to use a single camera setup. Obviously, if we chose to use a dual camera setup that both were mounted on, say, the 35 or 40 yard line, it would work very well as well. Using multicam, you would need the device that would pan for the iSteady multi-gimbal, and you would need the remote for the Pivo or whatever combination you needed. And it might mean more people, more personnel attached to your stream instead of being able to do it all at once. But this is a good option, mounts very well on top of a tripod, and it would be a great way to catch all the action up and down the football field. If you found this video to be helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.